Will you pray with me? Gracious God, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Gospel stories can be so many things. They can be inspiring and challenging, comforting, and even confusing. But personally, today, speaking as a woman, I'm putting this one in the category of triggering. Do you hear me, sisters? The contrast the story draws between these two sisters is bringing up some stuff for me. Anyone else out there feeling this? Yes. It's not just limited to women, believe me. It can be hard not to see ourselves in these two sisters with their very different ways of being, and to feel like Jesus is making a judgment here, and Luke is putting out the question, are you a Mary or a Martha? This particular gospel story is remarkable for many reasons, the first of which is that it is one of the few that feature women as primary characters, named primary characters. And Luke is good for that. He has a penchant for lifting up folks who hover around the margins of power but rarely have a starring role. To give them a name and personalities is to say, you matter, and we see you. And that's not nothing. Secondly, this story gives us a glimpse into the ordinary human lives of Jesus and his friends. I mean, here Jesus finds himself in the middle of some very tricky family dynamics. And who hasn't been there, right? And I love that, because if we believe that in Jesus, God jumped into the deep end of our messy humanity, then you know an argument between two sisters has got to be part of the package. So on the one hand, there is a lot to love about this story. But there's also something that troubles me, that triggering part. Because I don't like the way these two sisters seem pitted against one another. It plays into some of the more difficult dynamics that we women often tend to deal with. I'm of the right age to have experienced the mommy wars when I was raising my kids some 30 years ago, and I don't believe I said that, 30 years ago. The women's movement had made huge strides, and it felt like our rights had progressed to a place where we had options as to how to live our lives, choices. What a breakthrough. But when I, a college-educated professional woman, began weighing the choice of whether to leave my job or raise my child, you would have thought that I completely betrayed the sisterhood. How could you just throw away all your education and spend your days changing diapers, one of my friends asked me. How could you bear to miss hearing your child's first words for something as mundane as a job, asked another. There was absolutely no winning this. So I chose where my heart was, and I gave thanks that I had the ability and resources to make a choice at all. So what troubles me here in this text is that Jesus seems to be playing right into that woman-on-woman conflict. He seems to be picking on one sister while praising the other. Martha, I really wish I could do Reverend Phyllis. You are distracted by many things, he tells her. There is need for only one thing. And Mary has chosen the better part. So how many Marthas are wincing right now? That better part remark stings a bit. For many of us who identify as Marthas, long to find moments of surrender to the Spirit, to tear up our to-do lists and focus only on listening to the wisdom of God. But then we look up and we see all of the undone chores of life that need attending to, the many needs of others, the little details that make the world turn. I mean, we are the people who get stuff done. What would happen if Martha just dropped what she was doing and took her place next to Mary? How would the evening have gone if Jesus and the guys had no dinner and no clean sheets and no fresh water? Hospitality is a ministry. Remember Deb Duhamel? Yes. And so is serving and healing and taking care of those in need, right, Peter Wirt? Jesus' critique of Martha makes us wonder if maybe he forgot the story he told just last week about the Good Samaritan, who, unlike the priest, felt that the more godly thing to do in that moment was to roll up his sleeve and help the wounded man. That sounds like a total Martha move to me. But here this morning, I'd like to move even beyond that kind of binary thinking, because frankly, it's exhausting. From every corner, right, we face comparisons and judgments and opposing forces. Right, left, red, blue, progressive, conservative, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, pro-choice, pro-life, it never ends. And our culture thrives on pitting us against each other. For this one to be right, that one needs to be wrong. And this is the very essence of dualistic thinking. A gift to us from the ancient Greeks, whose philosophy saw all things divided in opposition to each other. Spirit versus matter, body versus mind, earth versus heaven, which led inevitably to a binary dynamic of male versus female, to devastating historical results for women. Because it's not as if these sides were held in equal regard. There were serious value judgments laid on them that favored mind and men and heaven, linked together, over body and women and earth, also linked together. Reading the gospel through that either-or lens puts Martha in that lesser female role, tending to the domestic chores, centering on the needs of others, using her hands, her body, while Mary, sitting at Jesus' feet, is acting like one of the disciples, one of the male disciples, listening to wisdom, learning new things, using her mind. And it hurts my heart a little bit to see Jesus buy into those value judgments when he says Mary has chosen the better part. But here's where I feel that we, who have also been steeped in an either-or world, here's what we miss in the story. Jesus is not an either-or guy. He's a both-and guy. Jesus is constantly engaging his hands and his heart in ministry. He's found a rhythm that balances both. He holds together the being-doing paradox in a way that allows for the breakthrough of creativity and compassion in all that he does. If we truly believe that God, the essence of being with a capital B, is fully embodied in a human person who expresses himself in doing with a capital D, then we cannot split the two, and we shouldn't. That would leave us unbalanced, incomplete, only living out a part of ourselves, which is a recipe for a life of anxious distraction. You see, the strain of living life in the either-or is what Martha carried with her into that dinner party. She was anxious and judgmental and needing to prove herself right and her sister wrong. So she was focused on all the little details, and she missed the larger experience right in front of her. I think a lot of us carry that kind of anxiety around with us every day. Keeps our vision so narrow, our hearts constricted, our minds stressed. And Jesus speaks to her, I think, not in anger or even judgment, but in love, because he knows how susceptible we are into dividing things into either or. And he knows how that can cause even essential tasks, important tasks, to become anxious distractions and not meaningful steps to wholeness. If we fill our days with ticking off our to-do lists, seeing even relationships as obligations, getting caught up in the chores and the deadlines, we can forget about the true purpose of it all. And our service to one another can become all about our ego needs, our insecurities, our need to be a pleaser or to feel indispensable, awash in our own judgmental comparisons. And so instead, he does lift up Mary, who for this moment has let her distractions go and is allowing herself to see reality in another way. Sitting at Jesus' feet, she drops the binary, and she's dialed into the source of who she is. And her mind is open, and her soul is receptive, and she can take in all the love and the wisdom that Jesus is sharing. She can see the divine both and of him. As Richard Rohr says, dualistic thinking works only for a while to get us started, but then it quickly fails us, and we get stuck. Our frame should grow larger as we move toward that big picture in which God creates all and loves all. When we can let go of our anxious strivings and stop measuring our worth by what we do, we can start to erase a lot of other binary divisions as well. We can start to see each other and those we thought were different from us as part of a beautiful, interconnected whole. And we can start to see ourselves that way too. You see, it's not so much about choosing sides, but about what we are called to attend to first, foundationally, where we find our center, where we put our attention, how we cultivate our spirit and deepen our connection with God that then inspires how we can care for others. We can see that it's not that one way is right and the other wrong. It's about priorities. Where do we start? Jesus knew where he needed to start. He'd retreat from the world of tasks and obligations, find a quiet spot in the desert or the mountains or the sea, and check in with God. He'd pray and he'd listen and allow God to fill his well. He'd go to his source, letting go of whatever agenda might be that day so that God's agenda could emerge. Seek first the kingdom of God, Jesus says, and everything else will fall into place. This more open and contemplative seeing doesn't happen overnight, my friends, but it grows, almost unconsciously, over many years of dealing with conflict and confusion and healing and broadening and loving and forgiving reality for not being exactly what we want it to be. It really is about integrating all of ourselves into a whole being so that we can find the divine balance that reminds us that we are both human and divine. Learning that when we seek the kingdom of God first, that anxious striving falls away. Those judgments we carried, those comparisons just disintegrate. As Jesus puts it, we can forgive our enemies, both within and without. So as we leave here today, I invite us to do a little experiment in finding that kingdom balance between both heart and hands. Remember back to Luke's question, who do you relate more to, Martha or Mary? For this week, I invite you to open yourself up, however you identify, to the other way of being. If you are a Mary, perhaps put down that book or that meditation for a day and go serve at the soup kitchen. You just might find God there. If you are a Martha, perhaps you can put down the gardening gloves or the laundry and go lie in the grass for a lazy afternoon, for God will meet you there too. Let go of the either-or choice and embrace the wholeness. See what results. And you may discover that you are awfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, both as a dreamer and a doer. And you may discover that now that your small and judgy and divided self is out of the way, you are more open to love and serve and be who God has always called you to be. For that is where it begins. And you will truly have found the better part. May it be so. Amen.